And after that, it is said that the boy and the girl, they climbed a tree and they were sitting together in the branch of a tree, and the tree is full of leaves. There also the children, the boy and the girl, they were sitting so close to each other, touching each other's body, and they enjoyed greatly. And it is a beautiful memory. At that time they were children, and they don't have any sexual feelings at all at that time, or sexual feelings were lying dormant within their psyche when they were children. But this pleasant experience remained in their mind, in their collective unconscious. And when they became adults, they wanted to revive this beautiful experience. And so the poem is written in a psychological vein. The child psychology and the adult psychology is described, or it is hinted in the poem. The child psychology, that is the period of innocence that comes in the first part of the poem. And in the second part, it is the adult psychology that is working out. From the lines of the poet himself, in the first part, the poet says that she was very innocent about it. Innocent about what? About the physical contact. But in the last part, it is written that she tries to be innocent about it. That is the difference. In the second part of the poem, the woman wants to enjoy once again a swing with her cousin brother. He also is a young man enough. And here she pretends to be innocent about this desire. But we know that definitely now she pretends to be innocent. She is not innocent. And so these are the points that you have to consider when you go through this poem. Remember, you will examine the poem from different angles. The poem as a typical love poem, and then a poem dealing with nostalgia. There is irony in the poem that should not be missed out. And the psychological treatment of the poem also is a very important point. And so, what is this poem? This poem is an immature and innocent sexual encounter of the poet's cousin with him. An innocent sexual encounter of the poet's cousin with him, and her desire to experience it once again after growing up. Understood? And so the poem is so simple, and it talks about, it describes a very innocent treatment in the beginning. The poem is an immature and innocent sexual encounter of the poet's cousin, the girl with him, the poet himself. And finally, her desire to experience it once again after growing up as a woman. And so it's a very, very simple poem. Just note the structure of the poem. I told you it's a lyric poem without any definite rhyme scheme. But the structure is important. The first part written in the past tense and the second part written in the present tense. And now I will just go through the first stanza so that things will be more clear to you. Looking for a cousin on a swing. When she was 4 or 5. See, you should note the point. I hope that you have your text before you, or at least the photostat copy of the poem with you enough. Please go through the poem, and then only you will notice the structure. See, when she was 4 or 5, when she was, the poem is written in the third person narrative. But from there, in the next part, it becomes the first person narrative. And in the first part, we are not very much sure that the boy is the poet himself. But when we move on to the second part, it is clear beyond doubt that the boy is the poet himself. See, when she was, the cousin girl was 4 or 5, she sat on a village swing, and her cousin, 6 or 7, sat himself against her. And so, this is the simple image on which the poem is built up. See, he is an Indo-Anglian writer who is writing about the feelings and emotions of a typical Indian mind. See, a very, very ordinary sight, children swinging. Isn't it? Isn't it a very, very familiar sight in our country? You can see the children on swing. Sometimes the single child swinging, sometimes 2 or 3 sitting together and swinging. And so that image is there. You should have in mind the image of a swing. And so here the cousin sister and her cousin brother, the sister and her brother, a girl, remember the girl in the poem, she is the narrator in the beginning, or it is written in the third person narrative, and she is describing about, or her childhood experience is described. It is said that the girl who was 4 or 5 is sitting on a swing along with her brother, cousin brother, who is 6 or 7 years of age. And with every lunge of the swing, she felt him in the lunching pits of her feelings. Lunching pits is slightly an erotic image, carrying sexual connotations. Actually, when they were children, they had no sexual feelings. They were very much innocent about the physical contact they had. But it is said by critics that because they are also human beings, even though they are children, these innocent feelings, they are innocent at present, but these sexual feelings are lying dormant within them. And so lunching pits is not an innocent phrase. It carries a negative connotation or an erotic image. And see the word, every lunge of the swing. See, the word lunge is very significant. Lunge, that is the sudden forward movement. What is lunge? The sudden forward movement. Understood? And the word lunge has a pun in it. You know what is pun? Pun or quibble is a play upon the different meanings of the word. Understood? The same word having different meanings in different contexts. That is the figure of speech used here. Understood? Lunch. Here lunch is a pun. A pun is a play upon the different meanings of the same word. And so one meaning of lunch is sudden push forward. In the swing you push forward. The sudden forward movement is lunch. And the second implied meaning is that the arousal of the sexual feelings in them. See, they are innocent, they are children. But here lunch also means the arousal of the sexual feelings in the children. And so lunch and lunching pits both have negative connotations and they form erotic images. Understood? And so what happens in the first stanza? When see, it is written in the past tense, written in the third person narrative, and then it was written when the girl was 4 or 5 and the boy was 6 or 7, slightly older than the girl. They are swinging. It is a common sight, especially in the village area. And again, note the point, the first part, the setting, the location is a village. The innocence of village life is contrasted with the crookedness of city life, which comes in the last part of the poem. I hope you understood the poem. See, children swinging. It is a common sight that you see in villages. Understood? And so, the first part of the poem, it is set in a village, whereas the last part of the poem is set in a busy city. And so the innocence of village life, rustic innocence, is contrasted with the crookedness and the selfishness of city life. That also is an important point which you should not miss. And so the two children, they are swinging. And when they are swinging, in every lunch, their bodies touch each other, and they had great pleasure in that swing. But they were innocent. They don't have any clear sexual feelings in them at that time. And afterwards we climbed a tree, she said, not very tall, but full of leaves like those of a fig tree. See, again, the next statement is that after swinging for a long time, the girl demanded that they should climb a tree. And the boy obeys her, and both of them climb a tree. And it is a small tree, a short one, but full of leaves. And it was a fig tree. That is the reference in the poem. See, not very tall, but full of leaves like those of a fig tree. And so in the first part, when they were children, it is said that they climbed a tree, and the tree was short, full of leaves in it. They climbed the tree and they sat on the branch of the tree, again together, the bodies touching each other, and both of them enjoyed it. It was an innocent enjoyment. And in the last part, in the second phase of the poem, it is said that they wish to climb a tree, but the tree is now fully grown up, full of fig leaves are there, and full of fig fruits are there. Red figs are there on the tree. That is the growth of the individual. It coincides with the growth of the tree. And so these are minor hints that he gives, but the reader, the sensible reader, should not miss it. And so, and again, fig tree, according to the critics, we don't know whether Ramanujan had in mind such an idea, but the critics who evaluated this poem came up with another important interpretation. Interesting. Interesting interpretation. They say that a fig tree, it is a reference from the Holy Bible, or it talks about the story of Adam and Eve. See, after committing sin, they covered their nakedness with fig leaves. And so that is what is mentioned. And after that, see, you got it, fig tree. It is a reference from the Holy Bible according to some critics. Because you will have the reference to Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden. And it is said that after Adam and Eve committed this sin, they felt that they were naked and they covered their bodies with fig leaves. And so the mention may be that they matured from innocence to sexual awareness. And so that is another point, and we were very innocent about it. The idea is again repeated. See, the speaker of the poem says that when they were children, the boy and the girl, they swing and then they climb the tree. In both the cases, their bodies were close to each other and they enjoyed that physical contact, but they were very much innocent. However, that has given them great enjoyment. And now comes the second part or the second phase of the poem.